You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It's takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Glass smash. Anyway, that was.
It's not my fault it froze.
There you go. And you gotta love it. You just never know. I mean, I've said it 100 times if I've said it twice, but you just never know. Welcome in, everybody. It's Wednesday again on KLRN Radio, your home for conservative talk. I'm going to kick your night off tonight, hopefully a little better than the intro did, but you should stay tuned all night. Make your plans. It's Wednesday night. TV's lousy anyway, unless you're hooked on a new show or something like Ray Donovan like I am. Anyway, look, right after me, you get Foobar with Politibunny and Orty Packard. What a great show that is. You guys really need to tune in. You can learn something and laugh at the same time, which is usually more than we do here. Usually we just do learning here and a little bit of cussing, and they do a little bit of cussing too. Actually, they do a little bit more than I do, but anyway, that's all good. It's it's a freedom of speech thing, so fuck it if you don't like it. Anyway, it's and then, of course, after them, the man behind the scenes right now, the man behind the scenes all night, and then the man that nightcaps your night, Rowdy Rick with America Off the Rails. Like I said, it is a big triple play. Do yourself a favor. Stay tuned all night. There'll be breaks for drinks and potty stops. Trust me, we do that too. All right, so we're gonna actually, I got a bunch of stuff I got to kind of sort through here. I don't have it in the order I really want it in. We're going to pretty much dedicate the whole second half of the show to March for Life coming up this Friday, and basically pro-life causes and news and things of that nature. So the first half of the show will be more hard political, and then we'll turn more pro-life, and that's got a little political angle to it, but And yes, thank you, Ron. I see you counting there in the chat room. Appreciate that. I am up one. Fucking A. Anyway, we're going to kick it off with probably the biggest bozo, not necessarily the dumbest person, but the biggest bozo. And when I say biggest, I'm just talking literally size-wise here. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, and in case you didn't know, he's a rather large fella. He goes about 6'5". He announced a plan to provide guaranteed health care for all New Yorkers, including illegal immigrants, regardless of ability to pay or immigration status. So basically, whoever wants health care, that doesn't have health care, that can't afford health care inside of New York City, doesn't matter whether you're a legal immigrant, an illegal immigrant, whether you have a green card, whether you have a plaid card, whether you have a J.C. Penney card or, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can get health insurance. And they're going to do this with a $100 million fund. $100 million. That's right. So in case you didn't get the breakdown, what they're estimating is that 600,000 New Yorkers are without insurance. And that's what they're saying they intend to serve, is all 600,000 of them with $100 million. So if you do the math, that works out to $166.66 per year per person of those 600,000 people. Now, I didn't break down the monthly, but let's just say 12 times 12 is 144. So you got about another $22 divided by 12 months. So just another $1.80 per month on top of, so $13.80 a month roughly, give or take a few cents one way or the other. That's what these people would be would be paying for this healthcare plan. $13.80 a month per person. What do you think you can get for that? I mean, look, I get that it's a $100 million pot and they're going to throw it in somebody's direction. But if 600,000 people come out of the woodwork and overwhelm this healthcare system, how much do you really think they're going to get in the way of healthcare when that $100 million runs out? I got news for you. $100 million a year for dealing with 600,000 people in the healthcare world is short-term money. I have a friend that spent 2 nights in the hospital recently. 2 nights, okay, with medication, doctor bills, contrast, PET scan, whatever they had to do, $18,000 for 2 days. $18,000 for 2 days. That is unreal. Absolutely unreal. And you're talking about 600,000 people that don't have means with which to pay for insurance. So that means that the other, I don't even know what the population of New York City is. Bear with me a second while we look that up, huh? Give me just a second. And I want all the boroughs. I just want the city itself. Okay, 8.5 million people. So roughly 8 million people are going to pay $100 million for 600,000 people to not pay anything to have health insurance. Now, again, what kind of health insurance? Who knows what it's going to pan out to be like? Again, $13.80 a month is the rough breakout. The hard breakout is $166.66 per year per person. De Blasio said that they're using the word guarantee because they can make it happen. Yeah, because they can make it happen. That's their first, that's how they're going to back guarantee, because we can. This is what New Yorkers pay the exorbitant tax rates for. Sales tax, property tax, you name it tax, beverage tax. Yeah, they don't call it a soft drink tax. They call it a beverage tax, even though it's a sugary drink tax. You name it. All these taxes that you get gummed up with in New York City, that's where this money's coming from. And, I mean, can Lincoln Hospital really take care of all 600,000 of these patients over the course of a year? Now, granted, I know all 600,000 aren't necessarily going to get sick in the same year, and that would be foolish to even think that. But come on, let's be realistic here. When people are told that they are guaranteed insurance and health care, do you think they're not going to use it? Especially when they know they don't have to pay anything for it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And hey, Ron, thanks for the info in the chat room. Andrew, welcome in. Glad you're listening while you're driving. Don't look at your phone. Just keep your eyes on the road and keep your ears open. Yeah, Ron's telling us in the chat room that first 3 days in a hospital, Medicare copay is $1,350 per day. So that's $4,350 for the first couple days. Bang. And that's just your copay. Anyway, according to the mayor's website, it will be the largest, most comprehensive plan in the nation to guarantee health care for every New Yorker. Now, here's my next question. If the city of New York is going to guarantee health care for its citizens, what's to stop New York companies from even offering health care and just telling their people to go through the city and get it? What if 600,000 becomes 800,000 next year? And what if 800,000 becomes 1.2 million the year after that? You know, it's just, what are you going to do when the number grows? You're just going to keep taxing people to keep paying for it? If there was ever an idea of socialism, this is it, folks. This is going to be the largest experiment in socialism in the United States. It will fail. There's no viable way this can work. And, you know, they'll do everything in their power to make it look like a success. When it, you know, it's going to be drowning. It's absolutely going to be drowning. And they'll lie to you. They'll tell you what a great success it is. They'll tell you everything in the world that they need to hear in the media, except the truth. There's no way they make this work. You're talking about as many people that live in the entire city of Milwaukee or Baltimore. You know, it's ridiculous to think that they can do this for $166 a person per year. And, you know, de Blasio he's just rose-colored glasses with this whole thing. He said, today we take a huge step forward because we're telling people it's guaranteed. That's what's going to change people's lives, and it's going to change the way they act. Because when you know something is guaranteed, you act differently, he said. Really? Really? I mean, you were guaranteed insurance through healthcare.gov, and we still have uninsured people out there. So what does that tell you? It's just ridiculous. He says it's meant to be there for you. It's not something you have to fight or struggle for. It's not some maze you have to complete. It's guaranteed. It will be accessible. It will be available, he said. So in making this announcement, he also called for single payer system for the rest of the country. Of course he did. Because what good communist wouldn't? He said, is this something that ideally should be handled in Washington or in Albany? Yes, it should, he said. Let me just make that clear at the outset. The ultimate solution is single-payer health insurance for this whole country or Medicare for all. That's the ideal. That's what we need. And I strongly support a single-payer bill that's going to be considered in Albany this spring. Because if Washington won't act, then our state government should act, he said. You know what? I actually hate this for the people outside of the city of New York, because what the city voters, the incredibly overwhelming liberal city voters will do to the rest of the state of New York is a crime against humanity. Freaking horrific what they're planning to do. And since we're going to segue to the next story, New York is New York, and what's in New York that's also a disgrace? The United Nations. And for the past 13 years, a comprehensive annual report has given the country of Yemen the lowest ranking in the world for gender equality. I didn't know they were measuring gender equality for the last 13 years. And this week, the country of Yemen was handed the vice presidency of the executive board of the United Nations Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Agency. Let that sink in. The country ranked dead last in the world for gender equality for the last 13 years was given the number 2 seat on the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Agency of the United Nations. You can't make this stuff up. The decision drew strong criticism from a leading non-governmental monitor of the world body. UN Watch Executive Director Hillel Naur called it an insult to women's rights activists worldwide who struggle against the persecution exemplified by Yemen's misogynistic laws and practices. Now, for the last 2 years, Yemen, who has been war-torn, I mean, let's just say it, they're a war-torn country right now, has served on the UN Women Executive Board, which comprises 41 members serving 3-year terms. This year, it will also hold one of the 4 vice presidencies for the Asia-Pacific group. Each year's president comes from one of the UN's 5 regional groups, and the 4 vice presidents from the remaining 4. The decision was taken at a meeting in New York on Tuesday when Yemen got the post by acclamation. That is, it was elected without a recorded vote since no country raised objections and called for one. I just want to know who else is part of this group. That's what I want to know. As far as Yemen goes, they say they were glad to be selected as vice president of the UN Women Executive Board for Asia Pacific Group. The board's president and 4 vice presidents will work with the UN Women's Secretariat to prepare for and organize formal board meetings and inform and consult with their respective regional group. They meet once a month throughout the year and daily during executive board sessions. In response to queries about Yemen's election, UN Women's Secretariat spokesperson Oisika Chakrabarti said UN Women is not involved in the election of the Executive Board's Bureau and its member states' driven process. So basically it was a cop-out of saying, this is bullshit. So on the same day as Yemen got the post, UN Women's Asia Pacific Regional Office retweeted a tweet that linked to the latest World Economic Forum annual Global Gender Gap Report. Each year's report measures gaps between women and men in the area of political empowerment, economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival. The report incorporates an index ranking countries. So the report covering 2018, which was released last month, has Yemen in last place of the 149 countries evaluated. Now, WEF has produced the report every year since 2005, with the inaugural one covering just 58 countries that did not include Yemen at the time, and Egypt was on the bottom of that list. In every year since then, when 115 countries were assessed, up until 2017 when 144 countries were evaluated, Yemen has come in dead last every year. The UN Women's Executive Board in 2019 includes a number of other countries that score poorly in the most recent Global Gender Gap Report, among them Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Angola, and United Arab Emirates. And the highest ranked country of all of those was UAE at 121st. Congratulations, ladies. You've got some great representatives at the United Nations looking out for you. Last year's executive board members included Pakistan, second to last place this year, Iran, just stop it, and Bahrain. As in previous years, Islamic nations dominate the bottom end of the rankings in the 2018 WEF report, accounting for 26 of the 30 lowest ranking countries. An hour of UN Watch said UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet should speak out against this absurd and morally repugnant decision, which sends absolutely the wrong message from the very organization that is supposed to be protecting women from discrimination. How could the UN choose Yemen, a country that tolerates female genital mutilation, denies women hospital treatment without the permission of a male relative, and counts a woman's testimony as worth half that of a man in court? So we remind the UN that women in Yemen cannot marry without permission from their male guardians. They face deeply entrenched discrimination in both law and practice, and in all aspects of their lives, including employment, education, and housing. According to UNICEF data, 1 in 10 Yemeni girls marries by the age of 15, and there are reports of girls married off as young as 8. In August of 2018, UNFPA report on Yemen found that 48% of women are illiterate and 3 million Yemeni women and girls are at risk of gender-based violence. According to the most recent State Department country reports on human rights, female genital mutilation is legal, and a 2013 Health Ministry survey found that 19% of all Yemeni women between the ages of 15 and 49 had undergone some form of female genital mutilation. Scary. Scary, scary stuff. All right, that ties that one up. That went a little longer than I thought it would. I know I said I'd do the whole second half on pro-life and March for Life, and we're still going to do that, but I've got one other story I wanted to bring to you before we get to that. We're going to call this the bottom of the hour, and we're going to take a break here in just a second. Go refill your drinks, make your potty stop, and do what you got to do, because when we hit the music, you'll have about 3 minutes. Right, Rick? 3 minutes? Sound about right?
Si, senor.
Si, senor. 3 minutes. So Rick's going to punch the button in about 10 seconds, and we're going to do this thing, okay? So I'll see you in 3, 2.
Son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us. Gotta give you your right bumper first. Come on, give me a mic. What you doing? I've been jumping through some hoops. Wanna get my body loose. Wanna tell you what to do. Think this was your first day doing radio or something. You asked for the bumpers, you should know what they sound like.
Anyway, yeah, I should. I really should. Anyway, thanks for coming back. We're gonna jump out to the left coast real quick for this next story. Before we do that, though, quick programming reminder that Foobar is coming up next with Paletta Bunny and Orty Packard, and they will be followed by America Off the Rails with Rowdy Rick. And that's your Wednesday night, folks. After that, you can go to bed and know that you've heard everything you need to hear. So, anyway, out on the left coast, there's this company that, if anybody out there is from California, you've probably heard of PG&E. Yeah. They are one of the biggest U.S. power utilities by customer. And on Monday, they announced that they are preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection as soon as this month, possibly, amid pressure from potentially crushing liabilities linked to California's catastrophic wildfires in 2017 and 2018. So PG&E provides electricity and natural gas to 16 million customers in Northern and Central California, and they are facing widespread litigation, government investigations, and liabilities that could potentially exceed $30 billion due to the fires, according to the company. The most recent fire last November killed at least 86 people in the deadliest and most destructive blaze in California history. Its shares plunged 55% on Monday to $8.92, giving it a market capitalization of less than $5 billion. The stock is down 88% from late 2017, before wildfires devastated PG&E's service areas. Their chief executive officer was replaced on Sunday by General Counsel John Simon on an interim basis. And let's see, San Francisco-based company is working on lining up roughly $5.5 billion in so-called debtor-in-possession financing to help operations during bankruptcy proceedings. The utility said the bankruptcy process will not affect electric or gas services for their customers. Company advisors expect that it may take up to 2 years to emerge from bankruptcy. In theory, California politicians could avert PG&E's bankruptcy with legislative action. Last year, the state approved a law helping utilities recoup costs from fires in 2017, but not blazes in 2018. Both lawmakers and regulators may be constrained in how much more they can help PG&E, at least by allowing it to further raise electricity rates. Now, California's average rate is 16 cents per kilowatt hour, while those in neighboring Oregon and then in Washington are approximately half as much. And that's according to the United States Energy Information Administration. They provide energy provided to them by the energy consulting firm of McCullough Research. The U.S. average, by the way, in case you're wondering, is 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So PG&E said in a securities filing it could potentially raise more money and avoid seeking bankruptcy protection, but argued such a move would be complex, uncertain, and expensive. Sounds like it's going to be expensive any way it happens. And you know who always pays for expensive stuff when it comes to business entities, right? That's right. You and I do. So California, yeah, with your new governor, that's even further left than Governor Brown was. It just, who knows what can happen out there, right? I mean, Orty Packard, you're in California. I don't know. You got to tell us. Anyway, yes, immune to making them immune to lawsuits in 2016 and 17 to harden their equipment. Exactly what I was just talking about there. Bravo, sir. So a bankruptcy filing could help the company deal with fundamental problems as the prospect of continually being exposed to financial fallout from future wildfires. The company said many PG&E customers live near dry forest where rain has become increasingly rare. Conditions for potential future blazes are on the rise. PG&E's regulator, the California Public Utilities Commission, began in late December to investigate whether the company should make significant structural changes, including becoming owned by the state or splitting up its businesses. So like a Ma Bell type situation here, breaking it off into baby bells. So PG&E is saying it faces significant liability in excess of its insurance coverage if its equipment was found to have caused the camp fire that swept through the California mountain community of Paradise last November. The liabilities from that fire could be catastrophic if authorities determine, again, that it was the equipment that caused the blazes. Under California law, utilities are exposed to liability from wildfires regardless of their negligence. The company decided to prepare to file for bankruptcy in part to address that issue, known as inverse condemnation. So anyway, that's what's going on out there. And you got PG&E, which drew down remaining amounts on credit lines totaling $3.3 billion in November, had about $1.5 billion of liquidity as of Friday. A notice to employees about a pending bankruptcy could potentially dry up access to capital. So anyway, there you have it. That's the big story out on the left coast. Right now, we're going to change gears and go back to D.C. This Friday is the March for Life, and there will be 4 United States elected politicians that will speak at the 2019 March for Life. They will join an estimated, what they're saying, 100,000 Americans who will gather on the National Mall in Washington. I bet it's more than 100,000. I bet it really is. But anyway, in a rare, very rare bipartisan show of support for the pro-life movement, United States Congressman Dan Lipinski, Democrat of Illinois, and Congresswoman Katrina Jackson, Democrat of Louisiana, will join Republican Senator Steve Daines of Montana and Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey, the two Republicans, on stage at the National March. Pro-life politicians are rare in the Democratic Party, which generally maintains that a woman's right to have a safe and legal abortion is non-negotiable and ostracizes those who disagree. Lipinski has attended the March for Life in previous years, skipped last year's during a tough primary in which he ran against a pro-choice challenger and faced attacks from pro-abortion groups such as NARL, Pro-Choice America, Planned Parenthood, and Emily's List. Despite the pressure, Lipinski still attended last year's Chicago March for Life. Good for him. And you guys in the chat room, y'all nasty. Y'all don't need to be posting that stuff up no more. Stupid PETA. Y'all killing me. So anyway, March for Life President Jean Mancini said she was delighted that the four politicians would appear at the march and added that the right to life is a nonpartisan issue. She's absolutely correct. She said they're delighted to have them. The right to life is nonpartisan, blah, blah, blah. We said that already. We should all unite for life and stand against abortion, the greatest human rights abuse of our time. Amen to that. The theme of this year's march is unique from day one, and so factually true. Pro-life is pro-science, and will emphasize the ways in which modern science supports the pro-life movement. Held annually since 1974, the March for Life has become the largest human rights demonstration in the world. It takes place in mid-January around the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion in all 50 states. Since Roe v. Wade, an estimated 60 million babies have been killed by legal abortion in the United States. And quite frankly, we can't get those 60 million back. All we can do is fight to stop any further. And it's sad, and we need to make that fight. Life's worth fighting for. So in that same mind frame, just changing gears or sides of the coin, if you will, on Tuesday, January 8th, Planned Parenthood President Leana Wen openly admitted that abortion access is her organization's quote-unquote core mission. So after being lied to for years, they're finally just being blatant about it. Now's the time for politicians to act, but I guess that we can't now because we don't have the House. We'll never get it past the House. Sad. Sad that lawmakers didn't have the spine to do the right thing and defund them when we had the opportunity. But when said, first, our core mission is providing, protecting, and expanding access to abortion and reproductive health care. There's nothing. Healthcare and abortion are two words that don't mix. She said they will never back down from that fight. It's a fundamental human right, and women's lives are at stake. These people are sick. They're really sick. Wen's tweet came in response to an article published by BuzzFeed on Monday, which seemed to imply Planned Parenthood was shifting its focus away from abortion. The headline read, Planned Parenthood's new president wants to focus on non-abortion health care. In the subheadline, the reporter Emma O'Connor wrote, "The organization is still committed to providing abortions and reproductive care, but when the first female physician to run Planned Parenthood is embarking on a cross-country listening tour to learn how best to add or expand non-abortion services." You know, the things that we've been lied to about that they provide so much of over the years. And, you know, she said, "I'm always happy to do these interviews, but the headlines completely misconstrue my vision for Planned Parenthood," and adding that the organization would continue to fight for abortion on demand. There have been more than 400 abortion restrictions included in the states since 2011, Wen wrote. "Serving our patients must include fighting those restrictions in legislatures and at the ballot box." She's definitely dedicated. Nothing like killing those babies off. In recent years, Planned Parenthood has said abortions make up only 3% of its revenue. Under Wen's leadership, the organization has tried to paint itself as a harmless healthcare provider by emphasizing its non-abortion services that are almost non-existent, such as birth control and testing for STDs, and adopting the slogan, "This is healthcare." Oh yeah, anything, you know, you repeat it enough, the stupid people will believe it's true. The issue is that Planned Parenthood continues to be the nation's largest abortion provider. In 2016, it performed 321,384 abortions in the United States. In her thread on Twitter, Wen asserted that while she does plan to continue expanding the non-abortion services, abortion is still a top priority. For many, she says, "For many of our patients, we are their primary source of health care. This is garbage. We already know that fully functioning, non-abortion providing women's health care clinics outnumber Planned Parenthood clinics 20 to 1. 20 to 1. So don't tell me that there's not a clinic nearby that doesn't provide abortion. Not happening. So she is kicking off a tour. She intends to go to 20 of their affiliate offices in 5 months, where she plans to highlight the ways Planned Parenthood is already doing this in communities across the country and look for ways to expand it even further. She's excited, she said, and it in no way means we are backing down from fighting for abortion access, blah, 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 blah. Kill the babies, kill the babies, kill the babies, kill the babies. That's all they care about. All they care about. So anyway, look, March for Life is the big highlight this week. Friday, they're going to be stunned on Friday. I promise you there's going to be more than 100,000 people there. I guarantee it. There's just no way that it can possibly not be more than 100,000 people there. And I am perusing my notes here. I thought I had some more stuff to add for this. So bear with me just a second. Are you kidding me? I know there was another story. Oh, that's because I didn't put it in the notes because I found it so late. So anyway, in this, amongst all this going on, Senator Joni Ernst is introducing a new bill with the intent of defunding Planned Parenthood. She and 31 of her Senate colleagues introduced a bill to prevent any taxpayer dollars from going to the nation's single largest abortion company, Planned Parenthood. Life News broke this story as far as I know. They have already profiled 2 pieces of the legislation also, one in the Senate and one in the House, that would defund Planned Parenthood of the taxpayer dollars that it receives under Medicaid. Also, Congresswoman Virginia Foxx of North Carolina has filed legislation that would revoke Planned Parenthood's taxpayer funding via the Title X family planning program. The Ernst bill is the companion measure to that. And according to Senator Ernst, she said, we must fight to protect the most vulnerable in our society, the unborn. Iowans and all Americans should not be forced to fund the nation's largest abortion provider with their hard-earned tax dollars. This legislation will put an end to this practice and redirect those funds to eligible women's health care providers. Amen. Where's that been? To protect funding for Women's Health Care Act prohibits taxpayer dollars from going to Planned Parenthood. Instead, the bill redirects those funds to legitimate women's health care providers while ensuring there is no reduction in federal funding for women's health services. Specifically, what Senator Ernst is targeting is these additional women's clinics out there that outnumber Planned Parenthood 20-1, but just don't do abortion. So, and you know, you say, well, if you split that money up amongst that many clinics, how's anybody going to get anything? Well, here's the issue is that Planned Parenthood gets so much of the chunk of money designated for women's health care that those other clinics get next to nothing because they don't provide abortion. So Planned Parenthood, they kind of cook their books to show that they're providing all this health care when it's, they're not really doing anything that you can't get done at a local public health office. Free birth control at the county health office and free condoms, and you can get checked for an STD, and it's everything free, but they're billing it back to the taxpayers. That's what they're doing. And they push women into having abortions. They are big on killing the babies. What can I tell you? That's the truth of the matter. And, there are still people in Washington that believe in life. Tom Cotton jumped in on this. Americans should be able to fund women's health services without their money being used to pay for abortions. This bill will protect the unborn while preserving funding for women's health services. Great. Deb Fisher, Nebraska, Senator. Here we go. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi jumped on board with this. Tim Scott, South Carolina. It goes on and on and on. 31 senators on board with this and co-sponsoring. So, it's one of those things, you either believe in life or you don't. And it's amazing that the ones that are so willing to fight for abortion seem to be the people that have already been given their chance at life, and they're just wanting to take it from somebody else. Funny how that works. Anyway, we got that going on, and since we still have a little time, we got just a little time. Let me scoot back down my notes here because this was a good story, and I hate that we don't have the time to give it the full dose it needs, but we need to hit this. So also, while he's hitting the crescendo, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is rolling out another new plan that would potentially allow the city of New York's government to seize buildings of landlords who force out tenants, and a plan his opponents say amounts to straight communism. De Blasio, in his State of the City address, announced he wants to take action against landlords who try to force tenants out by making the property unlivable, which there are already laws against, and pulled out an executive order to create a mayor's office to protect tenants. He said that in the event the government intervenes, the buildings would be then controlled by a community nonprofit. When a landlord tries to push out a tenant by making their home unlivable, a team of inspectors and law enforcement agents will be on the ground to stop it in time. If fines and penalties don't cut it, we will seize their buildings and we will put them in the hands of a community nonprofit that will treat tenants with the respect they deserve. So basically, we're talking about forcing people to use their property how the city deems they should use it. You're talking about rent control by the city forced on private ownership. You're talking about communism. The government would own the building, and it would be used how they deemed, or their, we'll call it their appointee deems the right thing to use it for. Basically, you're telling property owners they can't manage their own property. They claim that it's being done to drive people to responsible, mission-driven ownership. What if their mission is different than the city's? You going to tell a property owner what their mission should be with their property? The city has gone easy on problem landlords in the past, according to the New York Times. They've taken a gentle hand with landlords who deprive tenants of basic services, declining to enforce the maximum penalties for even the worst offenders, detailing how neglected repairs end up forcing tenants out. Okay, so if it forces tenants out, they can't get new tenants in, and certainly not for more money if the repairs need to be done. So this makes no sense to me. None at all. Republicans are disturbed by the extent of the plan and charge the idea was more suited to communist dictatorships where land and property seizures are commonplace. Assembly member Nicole Maliotakis, who ran against de Blasio in the 2017 mayor's race, said, "My first reaction was, is this communist Cuba? This is extreme even for Mayor de Blasio because we know he has socialist leanings, but this is straight out of hard communism, and I think it's very scary to America-loving, democracy-loving people," she said. De Blasio, man, he's off the deep end. $166 a year per person for health insurance, per year per person for 600,000 people, and he thinks that's going to guarantee everybody the highest quality care. And now we're talking about asset forfeiture here, seizing people's property and turning it over to the state for use as they deem fit. Ridiculous. All right. Well, that's it for me tonight, folks. That's the show. Next week, I will be out of town, so there will be a replay. I'll be at the PGA Merchandise Show in Orlando. Don't be jealous. Don't hate. I'll be having fun. I'll be thinking about you for a few minutes, but not too terribly long.
Damn.
Well, and what was that, Rick?
I said damn 1%er.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tease Politibunny about being the 1%er like Orty does, but I got pro passes to the PGA show. Anyway, if you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you need new friends. But they and you are welcome here with me every week on the Conservative Curmudgeon Show on KLRN Radio. Peace. God bless.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
Here's to us. Here's to love. All the times that we messed up. Here's to you. Feel the grass. 'Cause the last few nights have kicked my ass. If they give you hell, tell them go fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to love. Here's to everybody well. Here's to us. Here's to love. Here's to us. Here's to us.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Welcome to Foobar, One Nation Under Foo. I am your host, the fiery, the fabulous, the farty. And there we go. And we're coming to you live on this gorgeous and amazing Wednesday night from Foobar Studios here in Fooville, Foo, USA. With me, as always, thank God, is the Amish guy, Orty Packard. Orty, how are you?
I am an Amish trapped in a white body.
Do you have your veggies with you tonight?
Oh, God. Fucking PETA. I swear to God.
Oh, you got to do the whole disclaimer thing.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Also, I'm totally discombobulated because while we were waiting to come on the air, you said something that kind of made me laugh, but then Rick followed up and I spit milk all over my machine. Well, that is professional, isn't it?
Good thing you fixed that Mac, huh?
Oh my, okay, so the Mac is fixed, right? But there's some bullshit with Mojave now that, and it's a community thing, so it's not just me, because I thought, it's me being stupid with the malware. But no, there's this whole community thing that Mojave is crashing when you run any browser. Well, my computer's useless as a browser, so, it's still doing some freezing here and there. But I'm on my laptop tonight. But I did manage to spit milk on the iMac. So, yeah, I've got it all together.
Yeah, we're good to go. Right on. And thank you, chat, for putting the trans Amish in there with the PETA carrot swinging picture.
Oh, my God. This is okay. So if you are, have a life and you don't ever spend time on Twitter, God bless you. You're smarter than the rest of us. But PETA, in all their wisdom, decided to put together an ad about how real men eat their veggies. And then these real men are like these little skinny-ass, gray-looking motherfuckers. And they've got, this one dude playing tennis has a carrot for a penis, and he's got little kumquat and testicles. The one that bothers me the most is the old guy with the giant.
The old dude with the eggplant.
Is that an eggplant? What the hell? With the freaking watermelon? It's freaking huge. And I'm like, well, he ain't coming near me with that thing. What the hell? And they're all dancing it's all provocative. And then of course there's the hot guy who looks like he's totally gay in the car wash, and he's got the banana penis.
Yeah.
What is wrong with them?
Emily Zanotti did a great subtweet or quote tweet of that PETA commercial saying, all of these men cry after sex, guaranteed.
I just couldn't understand what was going on. Because, it was one of those things where, I'm going to look through my feed, la, la, la. Why is that guy dancing with a giant carrot penis in the middle of my screen? And I thought it had to be a joke, and I'm like, PETA is a joke, right? But it's all about toxic masculinity this week with Gillette and, the best a man can be because they don't want you to be a man anymore.
Gillette, oh, God. I mean, they're going to prove once again, because this has only been proved 1,000 times, but let's do it 1,001 just to see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Get woke, go broke.
Hey, you know what? That is the way of 2019 already.
Yeah, I mean, it's been building up. I mean, you can even go back on the same topic. Ivan Reitman's son, is
Jason.
he's redoing the Ghostbusters, picking up, okay, it's modern day, but it's the original timeline. They're just retconning that 2016 dumpster fire completely out of existence.
Thank God, I hated that movie. And that's because I'm a Ghostbusters fanatic, right?
Did you see that teaser? I got the chills when the music started.
I did, because it's like the music from the original movie, and they come up on the old Ghostbuster car, and it's all spooky, and like, okay, I'm ready.
It was bugging me all day. It's the music that was in the library scene.
Yeah, well, they also play it when they come up, when they show the whole matte painting of her building. Yeah, I am a total Ghostbusters fanatic. It's when they look at the building, and then you see the lightning kind of flash, like you know the shit's going to hit the fan. They play it then, too.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Yeah, it's true. This man has no dick. Oh my God, that is the best movie ever, right? But no, they're going to make it like a real movie. It's not about, oh my God, it's girl power. That was so stupid. Girl power is not me. Not for me.
Just happy this goo would,
Yeah, I want to see ghosts and scary stuff. It's funny. Yeah, that's where I am. But apparently masculinity is on the toxic. Masculinity is on the outs, apparently. Yeah,
but anyway, I mean, they're following... what was it? Harry's that did it last November.
It was Harry's did it. Well,
some people think that Gillette retweeted the Harry's tweet from last November to take some of the heat off of them.
It's possible. I don't know. And then there's some people who are even smarter who think maybe this is all a troll, and that during the Super Bowl they're going to do something real. But I don't know. Apparently, I had a whole discussion with a white dude today telling me that white dudes are bad. And I finally got really irritated with the white dude who was telling me white dudes are bad, because I'm like, my husband's a white dude and my son's going to be a white dude, so, blow.
I don't care there. I asked him, could you explain to me or is a Kentucky experience?
I lost you. You cut out a little bit that time.
Okay. Yeah, I asked him, could you explain to me the privilege that the white men in the hollers of Kentucky experience?
Yeah. Let's talk about the Appalachians, shall we?
Yeah.
Come on. But I don't understand where this is all coming from. I don't see what this does for society. And I mean, I know they've been pushing this crap for years, but it's like it's coming to a head. Is this some kind of, I don't know, is this some kind of thing to hit Trump because he's kind of manly? Or do they just really need someone to be the villain? I just don't get it.
I don't know, but, talk about white men, Martin Luther Cream.
Sean King. Oh my God.
Talcum X himself. He's actually suing a bunch of black women now for claiming that. Yeah, because you remember when he said that he accused the wrong person of murder,
right?
And then the real murderer stepped forward, and then he hasn't accounted for the money that he raised.
And I saw him say that he was going to sue people who is stealing.
Yeah, so a bunch of the people that he's threatening to sue, very few of them were white, and almost all of them were women.
Way to go, John.
So
that is white male privilege, right?
That is white male privilege.
Oh my God! Yeah, I saw that. Actually, Dawn sent it to me. Dawn Persnickety, who's one of my favorite people on Twitter. She kind of keeps me glued in even when I'm not paying attention, and she sent that to me. And she sent me a screenshot because she knew he had me blocked, because everybody blocks me. But I guess Sean thinks he has like a whole legal team he's bragging about. There's like 4 different lawyers.
Yeah, Dewey, Cheatham, Howe, and Lionel Hutz.
They're going to sue a bunch of black chicks. Yeah. I love it. Oh my God, everything is stupid.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well.
If it wasn't, it wouldn't be 2015 Part 5.
God, it's ridiculous. Well, because it reminded me of 2015 already this week, because I started trying to figure out who all on the Democratic side has said they're going to run.
Oh, God.
So I started making a list, because I kind of wanted a scorecard or something, and it wouldn't fit on a whole tweet. I had to go down. It's like a clown car. Giggity. Yeah, ha, ha, ha. But, it's like, I'm trying to keep track, and I think I have all of them. People are like, oh, you missed so-and-so, and there's like 3 other people that they listed, and I never heard of this dumbass, and there's like 20 people.
Spell them out. Let's make fun of them. Let's see who's in now.
Okay, so who we know who's in is Kamala Harris. We know she's in.
Hello, fellow young people.
Look at me. I'm drinking a beer and dancing. Yeah, she's great. Liz Warren is in. Yeah,
she was trying to one-up Liz on cringe, and I think that she beat her. Because I I need a chiropractor after that cringe.
Well, it was like she's trying to be as cool and hip as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, So she's down and funky with her fellow man, but she's also having a beer because, that's Liz Warren, and this is going to be so dumb. And you've got Kirsten Gillibrand, who she says she's going to run. What is his name? Castro.
Julian Castro?
Julian Castro.
Yeah, I thought Texas forgot about him.
No, but no, he's going to run. Let's see who else. Sherrod Brown is Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown is doing some kind of meeting thing. He's trying to figure out if he's good enough. Of course, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders. People are saying Hillary's going to put her stupid name in again. Please let that happen.
So bad.
John Kerry is another one. Al Gore has popped up. Don't say that. That's bad. Al Gore's name has popped up. Thank you. Who else? There's a bunch of them. It's so bad. Oh, of course, Beto, Cory Booker, Bloomberg. There's an idiot from Washington. I can't remember his name. The guy from West Virginia. I think there's a dude from New Jersey. It's like 20 people.
Plumber Joe. Sideshow Bob, the guy who sells oranges down by the side of the freeway.
Oh my God! Yes, and there's Chumley. Yes, Castro is very popular with the Dems. That name is good one in the chat. But so we have 20 of them or so already, and we haven't even got going.
Right. I mean, they're going to make when the GOP had to have two stages. They had the undercard debates and the regular debate. It's like you're like a little baby. Watch this. That's gonna be oh man.
3 stages. It's gonna be awesome, and they're gonna eat each other alive.
Well, and that's the thing too, is because they all hate each other.
Well, they don't have an original thought within all of them. They all have the same stupid agenda and policies. Trump bad, open borders, raise taxes, abortion is good, take your guns. That's what they've got.
Give me free shit.
Give me free shit.
Yeah.
I deliberately give me free shit. That kind of goes with raise your taxes. But they all kind of had the same shtick. So what they're going to be doing is be like, okay, who can be the most progressive, crazy-ass person on the stage?
Kasich.
You know what? That's interesting. Okay, so Kasich, his dad was a mailman. But anyway.
Away.
That joke. Oh, my God. But
the hell you say?
Yeah, John Kasich is basically now a CNN contributor and political analyst.
Yeah, way to endear yourself to the right by being a CNN political analyst.
You did, John, because John's so popular with the right anyway. And then Claire McCaskill is with MSNBC now.
Well, that's a good point.
Oh my God. It just makes sense though, because they basically are the same job anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The media, politician, you're the same thing.
It used to be a revolving door from politics to K Street or, the defense industry, depending upon if you had an R or D after your name. Yeah. But now it's just revolving door, politics, CNN, politics, Fox News, politics, you're just revolving those doors too. There's more money in that than there is in K Street, apparently.
So, yeah. It's gonna be a disaster, and it's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait. It's just gonna be so entertaining. They really made fun of us in 15 with how much we had going on. I made fun of us in 15 with how much we had going on. Right. It's going to be fun at least to finally have a reason to pick fun of someone and not get yelled at for it. You pick on how many Republicans are on the stage. People are like, oh, you're a traitor. You pick on the Democrats. Yeah, kick their ass. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, somebody made a comment the other day about how Kasich might run as an independent and then split the R vote, kind of like a Ralph Nader, Ross Perot kind of thing. Yeah. But here's the thing is that Kasich, between his shooting down, stand your ground laws in Ohio, shooting down fetal heartbeat laws, vetoing all those, he doesn't have a platform that appeals to anybody on the right other than not Trump.
Yeah.
So all he's really going to do, and the only people it's going to confound are like Tom Nichols and Bill Kristol and those guys, because it's good. Do I vote Democrat or do I support Kasich?
Do I vote Democrat? Oh my God, I hate that we have to say that about them. It sucks because they used to be someone I really looked forward to reading about and I respected, and not so much anymore. So yeah,
we were going to have Tom on the show, on the old show.
Oh yeah, because Tom was a good friend. I thought Tom was brilliant, and then Tom kind of lost his marbles, and that was the end of Tom. So
I think it was because he did Discovery Channel shows about UFO files.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Not happening for me tonight. Sorry. I probably should let people know in the chat that I'm on painkillers. So if I suddenly drift away, you know why.
Yeah. And apple juice and painkillers.
No, and now it's Kool-Aid and painkillers. I know that's a great mix, but right. You gotta stay hydrated when you're on some kind of opioid or whatever. Anyway, good times. So we're talking Democrats and stupid, and when you put Democrats and stupid together, you get all kinds of fun stuff like Nancy.
You get a government shutdown. See that segue?
What was that?
You said stupid. You said stupid Democrats, so I've played Hillary barking.
Oh my God!
I forgot about that.
And she did bark like a dog. Oh my Lord! I was thinking about stupid and Democrat, and I thought Nancy Pelosi.
Well, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Saying I'm gonna run with it. Go ahead. She uninvited the president to have a State of the Union in the House.
I was talking about this today. All he needs to do is send a letter. That's what we used to do. Just send a letter. State of the Union. It's huge.
It's huge.
It's fantastic.
I think you should. You know what? I think it's fine. They're technically right. She can say, "Hey, you're not invited," but it's really stupid to do that because then she looks petty and she tried to say. She looks like herself. But they tried to say it was about security, which was the dumbest thing they could have said. Because then DHS and all of them came out and said, "No, that's bullshit. This is not. We're just fine. We can keep them safe."
Capitol Police and Secret Service. So
DHS is like, well, it's fine. It's nothing new. He'll be just secure as he is anywhere. But no, she tried to make it about security, which of course was like backfire central in social media because they are like, well, we're glad your security is important because ours isn't at the border. I personally think Trump should do it at the border.
I think he should do it from a Holiday Inn. Kind of like he did the hamburger thing.
He should be eating Chick-fil-A and he should do it at the border. That's what he should do.
Just do it in a Holiday Inn convention room.
I think that, can you imagine? He's down there in Texas and he's got Chick-fil-A and he wears his MAGA hat and does his State of the Union. Oh my God. He might as well do what he wants to do because no matter what he does, they're going to hate what he says and does.
Right.
He could come out and say, look, I've cured cancer and everyone's going to live. And they would still be like, oh, you bastard, you hate brown people. So it doesn't matter. He should do whatever the hell he wants.
It's like with that hamburger thing.
That was awesome. That was so Clemson loved it. That's what pisses me off the most. Is everyone's like, oh my God, you setting these terrible food, and like, oh my God, it was so awesome. We love this. We never get to eat this shit.
Well, the media. Okay, I'm going to preface this with once again, I don't like the guy, but the media keeps getting all these huge self-owns.
Yeah.
With because if he hadn't done that, if he hadn't paid for all that pocket, they would have been, they're furloughed and blah blah.
They're doing that anyway.
Yeah, so
they're doing that anyway. Well, it was so cheap. When do they get to go to the White House and eat again? Well, that's not the point. These guys are athletes. They don't really get to eat like that very often, and it was fun. They had a blast.
I saw several of the athletes say they asked, and it was all.
They loved it. They thought it was wonderful, and like some guy was talking shit about. There was a picture of one of the players, and it was like, I went to the White House, and all I got was this Big Mac. It's like, actually, I had a great coach and a winning season and a kick-ass education. This guy just lit these people up. I think they're really overplaying their hand on basically everything anti-Trump at this point.
And the dumbest,
you could have stopped at everything.
The dumbest thing about all that, though, is if Barack Obama had served them the food that Donald Trump served them, he would have been the coolest, hippest president ever.
Oh my God! It's like beer when he had the beer with the two guys there to fight. Hey, look how down to earth he is.
Yeah, didn't he go work or drive through a Whataburger or something like that?
I don't know, but anything he did was rad and down with the man. But Trump doesn't. He's cheap and he's trying to make him sick with fast food, and it was so damn stupid. Yeah. It is to the point where even if he does something stupid, we don't know it because there's so much noise about everything the man does. This reminded me of, the Diet Coke thing. Remember how they're like, oh my God, he drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day, so, he must have something wrong with him. And then it was 2 scoops of ice cream, and oh my God, he's such a pig, he has 2 scoops of ice cream, and now it's the fast food in the White House.
Yeah, but you know what they were justifiable on was eating well-done steak with ketchup. That's unforgivable. That's un-American.
I don't give a shit what he eats. I don't really care. Who was it? It was Charles C.W. Cook. He had the smartest tweet I've ever seen about a president. And he said, I want a president who is so invisible that the only time I'd ever see him is if there was a war or a national crisis.
Right.
And I was like, hell yeah. That is how it's supposed to be. And I think that's why I got so irritated with this guy today. He's like, you know what? The president isn't in charge of Congress. And I never said he was. But I guess there is this idea that the president will just say, hey, screw you, Nancy, I'll do what I want. And I guess that's a fair argument. But I love the idea of, the president is so busy not involving himself in our lives that we don't even know he's around unless there's a problem. And I think that made perfect sense. I loved that from him.
Did an angel just get its wings?
No, my daughter is texting me in my computer. So
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the rule says when we hear a bell ring, an angel gets his wings. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. I'm just saying.
No, it's my daughter texting me.
What they don't tell you is when a mousetrap snaps, one gets set on fire.
So I'm telling her to stop texting me. All right, sorry. I love you. Text me later. I'm on the air. Yeah, see, that's what's so funny about moms who do live radio. And I don't think I speak for myself. I think a lot of moms, I've had my son throw up in the hallway and had to cancel a show halfway through. My daughter's texting me, it sounds like an angel got its wings. But I think that's cool because I think that it makes radio relatable. So anyway.
Well, that's like dude that was on the BBC that the kid came trying in through the back door while he was giving an interview.
That was like the best one ever. She just comes dancing in, and he's talking about something like really serious and important, and it was something global wide. And
well, it was BBC, so it was obviously smug and self-important.
She came in, do, and then that little baby rolls in, and the mom goes flying around the corner. I'm like, okay, that is my life every day. Not anymore. Now my kids are so old, they don't even care. They text me. They don't come talk to me. So,
yeah, from the other room.
Well, she's upstairs.
Make nachos.
Mom, I mean Cheez-Its. Right. Oh, yeah. But no, it's all good. It's all good. Sorry about that, guys. Between spinning milk on my monitor and the text, I'm having a great night. That was something else. I've never talk about, I just had a spit take. I literally spit milk everywhere. And it wasn't that funny, so it must be a painkiller thing.
Right. It's a painkiller thing.
It was kind of
tramadol.
I don't know what it is. It's actually just like ibuprofen, like on steroids.
Oh, so, okay. Yeah.
But it's like the big horse things, like with, I don't know, it's like not an antihistamine. I don't know, but it's like a friggin' horse pill. I'm not supposed to drive when I take them, so I assume there's something in them that makes me sleepy.
You hear that, Andrew? You're not supposed to drive on painkillers.
We have someone in the chat who drives on painkillers?
No. Andrew was driving and listening to G's show, so I'm carrying the thing along.
Oh, see, I wasn't paying attention.
Did you just insinuate that he could fall asleep while listening to G's show?
No, I didn't. That's not what he was driving, is what I said. Well, what are you?
Sorry. Oh, my God.
Stretching out to fill the 3 minutes before commercial break. How you doing, chat? How's it going?
Really fucking sorry. Rick has got some zingers on you tonight, dude.
I know. Rick is in a mood.
In a mood. Are you
live? Cover it on your show, Rick, because you're all fired up.
Actually, I'm still doing research, so I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, you do show prep like I do show prep. Read Twitchy three hours before the show.
Oh my God! Yeah, we were so professional here. That was great.
Well, we've given up on trying to be topical for the week.
It doesn't work.
We can't do that.
No, I can't. All right. So, Ann Coulter is trending. What did she do?
Oh.
All right.
You're actually looking at Twitter now.
I can open Twitter.
Oh my God! At least focus on the show that we.
What show? What are you talking about? No, I just saw it peek, and yeah, she's trending because she says Trump is dead in the water if he doesn't build that wall.
Yeah, but she said that like 3 times, and they are in the most abusive relationship ever, where it's like, she keeps taking him back, and he keeps letting her down. I mean, she just keeps falling down the stairs and walking into doorknobs.
All right. God. I'm going to get letters over that one.
Yeah. Nobody email.
No, email him. Why is okay? Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking to see what she's doing. Yeah, anyway. Okay, I'm back. I'm here. Hi.
Are you with us?
I'm sort of with you. It's getting harder, though.
Boy, the second half is going to be great.
It's going to be awesome, right? Because I'm feeling really awesome.
Quick, get on Twitter and find out what we should talk about. Oh, my God, Foo.
I'm sorry. I'm a little...
Together.
I'm together, but I feel really peaceful and calm, and I like everybody all of a sudden.
Even the chat? Hey, chat,
No.
This is your opportunity.
No,
Get a hug.
Sorry, guys, you still suck. But it is like a friendly hatred tonight. It's a peaceful hatred because I'm happy with everybody.
It's a peaceful, easy feeling.
It's a peaceful hatred.
This is why Fu is so discombobulated. She's never been happy for this long.
I know, right? Usually she's angry all the time.
I'm not angry. I'm fine. Say something that makes me mad in the second half, and we'll be fine.
I'll get you fired up during the commercial.
You remember that scene in Tootsie? And we're on a break. We'll come back. Stay put.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
That is such a cool bumper song.
Right? What is that?
It's like, isn't it like polka heavy metal?
That is actually Come With Me now. I found the section that had the polka in it back when we were still on Mojo, and you wanted polka for.
I wanted polka. Yeah, that's awesome. And we're back from break. I promise I am more focused. I was able to drink a little more water, and I'm ready to go. I'm good.
Be glad she's
Lazy
back. Be glad she's back, because a second ago she was laying on the floor drooling, and we.
Right. She was in a puddle of milk, drooling on the.
Oh no, it's Kool-Aid, and only drooled a little. I'm a happy drunk apparently, but I'm not drunk. I'm pain medicated. I'm good. All's good. I'm totally focused. So, what are we talking about now?
In the hell of be careful when a camera is.
And we lost Orty.
And we did lose you.
And
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Did I fade out and in?
Yeah, we totally lost you.
You might want to.
Great.
You might want to fondle your dongle for a second. We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let me fondle my dongle again.
So basically, what's happening is Orty's having issues with his headset, which has a dongle that he has to fondle. I don't understand it. I stay out of it. It's his life. I don't make judgments, but he has to fondle his dongle.
No, okay. I think because we fixed that before the show. I think we need to do another firmware update on this headset or send it back.
Yeah,
but anyway,
yeah. Is your dongle okay now?
My dongle is okay now.
Okay, good. I'm glad you fondled your dongle. Go ahead.
All right. So where'd you lose me? And be careful of the picture being taken thing.
Yes, right before you got to that.
Yeah. Okay. So Aotr's doing this photo op thing where she's looking for Cocaine Mitch, and she's popping her head out of an elevator. Get her picture taken. Is Mitch here? And her, what is he? What is his relation? His,
policy guy.
Policy advisor, Dan Riffle, is caught just totally scoping out her ass. I mean, eyes are just straight on, right on the booty, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's really getting on my damn nerves at this point. And I know I kind of railed about her last week. And I know the whole thing is people were like, hey, stop talking about her. But the problem is everyone's talking about her. And she is so full of what's going on with her right now that she says horrible, stupid shit and doesn't think anything about it.
Well, she's completely attention starved. I mean, anytime that the focus is on anything other than her, she can't handle it and has to make the attention about her.
I really thought that Trump was the Twitter candidate. The way he used Twitter, the way that he tweets, even now, I always thought that Trump was the Twitter guy. She is the Twitter candidate, period. She outdoes even Trump. And that's not a good thing because he makes me crazy on Twitter. Everything with her is about, well, I need to tweet this. I need to snark this. I need to rap this. And I guess she was using gangbanger terminology in something she was talking about in an interview.
Run a train?
Yeah, I saw that. She's kind of, I just want someone to give her a good pinch and tell her to knock it off.
But did you see when they ran the definition of run a train?
No, I did not see that.
Okay, so the running a train would be like she ran a train on the hockey team, meaning she slept with all of them.
Oh shit!
At once.
Are you kidding?
No.
Well, she called her first resolution a mixtape the other day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then she was talking about how her being on Instagram was tired, but being on legislative pieces was wired. And I'm just like, I'm gonna lose my mind. That this is what women are becoming in politics. I was really pissed with Hillary Clinton, and that it was all you have to be a nasty woman to have power. And I'm a nasty woman, and that was this whole idea. To get elected, you had to be disgusting bitch. And I hated that. But I hate this more. This makes me nuts. This is like every dummy I argue with on Twitter. That is her.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just her. It's like Ilhan Omar is doing it too because she doubled down on they've got something on Lindsey Graham.
Oh, I know. She's such a doorknob. And then it's, what is her name? Rashida Tlaib. I always mispronounce her last name.
Tlaib.
Tulip. Tomato. She was, she told that story about the TSA.
Yeah,
did you see that?
The woke 6-year-old TSA agent? Yeah.
The woke TSA agent who looked her in the eyes and told her to keep fighting. And she said, it just weighed on her shoulders, the importance of these people. And I made fun of her relentlessly with my bear story again. So, yeah, the bear is its way around
How do we operate as a nation for 50 years of flight without the TSA?
I don't know. And what's interesting is most of these people work for private companies. They're contracted out for the government. So it's even a little different than they talk about.
Yeah.
But, this really irritates me. It's like the HUD employee who's like, oh, please stop fighting against this racist, immoral wall to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And then Rashida just happens to see a TSA agent who's not frisking her because she looks like she could be a terrorist. I'm going to get trouble for that one. But my point is
yeah, you're getting letters for that one.
I'm getting a letter for that one. But, she talks about this TSA agent looking her in the eyes and how meaningful this was and how important it is. And I'm like, oh, bullshit. They're playing this card, this federal employee card, and I don't mean to be insensitive because I understand that it is terrifying to go without a paycheck and when you don't know what's coming next. There is sympathy for these folks, but Democrats playing this card knowing they could just as easily open the damn government as the president and pretending they have no power here is making me nuts. There was something Vox did today. They had a whole article, and they thought this was a zinger on Trump. They said, by the time the government is open again, ironically, it'll cost $5 billion. I'm like, well, then they should fucking open the government, huh, Vox? You agree with us? Because it's basically what he asked for anyway.
Right.
I mean, could you self-own yourself a little more, you dumbasses?
You're talking about TSA and all that. I did think it was cool, though, that Canadian air traffic controllers sent pizzas to American air traffic controllers.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, like on 9/11, Canada took over a lot of the air traffic.
Yeah.
And the load was on them, so American air traffic controllers sent them a bunch of pizzas because they were taking a heavy load for diverting the traffic, and anything that couldn't be turned around was landing anyway. So as a payback, because the TSA workers are working, air quote, without a paycheck, Canada air traffic controllers sent them a bunch of pizzas around the picture, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. But it's. I'm loving all of these non-essential government agencies that are coming to light through the shitty reporting of people trying to get zingers on this whole shutdown. Like, craft beer drinkers, may not see any new brands because the government agency that approves the labels is shut down. Right. Good. Okay. Why do we need a government agency to approve beer labels?
Well,
and somebody brought up, you can't tax what you don't know about.
Right, right. They're talking about starting a GoFundMe in in the chat for a new headset for you, just FYI.
Okay. This is a new headset. I'm going to have to send it back. I'm going to have strong words with Logitech.
You should have strong words with them, yeah, because now the chat. See, they're in your pocket, dude.
Yeah.
If it was my headset, well, her headset's her fault. They would give me crap. They want to help you get a new headset.
They can start a new hashtag. Who funds the Ordy?
Funds the Ordy. Oh my god!
Who funds the Federalist?
Yes, who funds the Ordy? Yeah. Oh my god. No, I just I'm reading these stories, and I'm just kind of over it at this point. Dan Crenshaw, he went on Fox News a couple nights ago, and actually I know this because I wrote about it, and he goes into the border wall, but he talks about how the GOP has a bigger plan, and the border wall is just part of it, and it's actually phenomenal. Rep. Dan Crenshaw. People talk about his eye patch, but he looks like just a badass, and he talks like a badass. I'm like, okay, President Crenshaw, 2024, I'm ready. Let's do this.
He would make such a great G.I. Joe action figure.
He would. I would totally have a Dan Crenshaw G.I. Joe figure. Oh my god! But he's brilliant, and he's darling. Of course, he's super hot because of the eye patch. But it's kind of like Ted Cruz with the beard.
You chicks are digging Ted Cruz with the beard.
I know. Texas has some hot representation going on. I'm telling you. I know you agree with me, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't freak out about when Trey Gowdy had a beard.
He looked kind of like the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken to me. I don't know. It didn't work for me. And I'm a beard.
Who needs to grow a beard is Rand Paul when he comes back from his Canadian surgery.
Oh my God! What is he thinking?
It's so bad.
So he does nothing.
I get it. You know what? They are like the premier, where he's going. They do this specific type of surgery. They are the premier ones who do it.
I get it. But he's talked a lot of shit about socialized medicine.
Right.
And he's going to Canada for surgery. Yeah, that's real stupid. Come on.
MD Campbell in the chat. Ted Wolverine Cruz.
Dude, it looks okay. So there's a story here with this because I've been nagging Ted Cruz to grow a beard since the primary. Because, they were making fun of the way he looks. He's like, the Zodiac killer or whatever. My problem is he's got kind of a weak chin, right? So I thought the beard would kind of masculinize him. And I'm right. He looks good with the beard. Although now the left is calling it pubic beard because it's kind of curly and whatever.
But these are people who can't muster anything other than a struggle beard.
Struggle beard. Do you know that there were people in California years ago who were paying for beard transplants? I'm serious. Men were selling their beard hair at top dollar so other men who cannot grow beards could have it transplanted into their faces. That's disgusting. But I mean,
California.
Yeah, you Californians.
Right.
It's so weird. The beard thing. Is there a segue between the beard and Kathy Griffin and Don Cheadle here? That was so hilarious. Did you see it go down?
Let them fight. GIF.
Okay, so typically Don Cheadle makes me a little insane because he's uber progressive, he's uber liberal, and he's Mr. Anti-gun, but he's what is he? War Machine in Iron Man.
He's War Machine in Iron. Yeah, all.
He's completely gunned up. He is basically a weapon of mass destruction himself. And he's big anti-gun guy. Well, I don't know what Kathy Griffin was thinking, but she decides to pick a fight with Don Cheadle on Twitter. And it was like 1 a.m, so I'm thinking maybe she, had some painkillers like me. And so she goes after him because he wasn't defending her enough after she held up the severed head of the president.
Right.
And she called this a smear campaign. Like somehow it was... She didn't actually hold up the president's head, that they somehow smeared her, saying that she, had done something wrong. And then she's like, some liberal you are, well, you better fear me. She tells Don Cheadle to fear her. So I'm laughing at this point. But then I see Don Cheadle, who lights her the fuck up.
And everything he said was accurate.
And he was never unkind. He never swore at her. He never called her a name. He was just like, hey, you know what? If you had called me and said, hey, I'm going to hold up the president's severed head, I'd have said, what are you thinking? Don't do that. And now that you've done that, you're surprised that people are pissed off that you held up a president's severed head. They're going to come after you.
Yeah, did you learn nothing?
You cut out. What'd you say?
Pike.
What?
Yeah, it's like, did they learn nothing about when Game of Thrones did it with Bush's head on the severed pike?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So basically he goes into this pretty friendly, almost brotherly lecture about you really screwed up. It's not my job. And he did say something like, well, I don't make friends easy, so it wasn't like I'm an ex-friend of yours because we really aren't friends anyway. And then he finally says, hey, you know where I am. Call me if you want to talk. I'm done with this online. And he gave her the peace. He made her look like a fool, which doesn't take much because it's Kathy Griffin. And I felt kind of bad because I was trying to avoid writing about Kathy, because she had come out a couple weeks ago about her mother who has dementia and who's kind of fading away. And her tweets about her mother were very kind and sad and made me very sad. And, it's at that point where you remember we politically don't agree, but we're all human beings, and that somebody always has a mother and a father. And, I felt for her. So I've really been trying to avoid smacking her around with Twitchy or wherever. But this, I just couldn't ignore this.
Let them fight.
Let them fight.
Because he got on a pro-abort bandwagon one night. Oh, no. It was even worse. It was a fake picture about the...
Whoa, I just lost you completely.
Yeah, hang on.
We need some music, like some Jeopardy.
No, he was using that fake story about the kid at the board that was separated from the mom.
I don't hear you.
I called him out on it, and he brigaded me with his follower.
Oh, were you the one he brigaded because of that? I didn't remember. I know he got into it with a couple people I know, kind of like Montel Williams did again this week. He dunked on an 8-month-old baby this week.
Montel is just racking it up.
His mind. I don't know what he's doing. Basically, he got really angry. It was basically Laura Loomer, who, okay, Loomer fan or not, what she did was pretty damn funny. Oh, what's this music? I heard that. Basically what she did is she's going to jump Nancy Pelosi's fence with a bunch of illegal immigrants. She's trying to make a point. Well, anyway, Montel wants her tased because he's like, I'm sick of this woman. Oh, 2 words, tase her, right? So then people are like, oh, my God, this is violence against Laura Loomer. And it was Jack Probasek. I'm probably saying his name wrong, too. Well, then, so Montel goes after Jack. And Jack has a picture of his 8-month-old son up on his mentions, and so he goes after his baby. Gets called out for that. Then he goes after Scott Pressler, who is a very popular activist for Trump, and he's also happens to be a gay man. And he went after Scott, called him a meth head, and also called him a woman. Yeah, he did all of this. And then when women came up and said, there was one woman who was like, hey, dude, I don't appreciate what you said or something. And he told her to lay off the plastic surgery. So, yeah.
Did he delete all this? I mean, did his manager, who likes to threaten to sue everybody, come back and...
I don't know, because ever since he called me a prostitute, he doesn't really have anything to say with me. He blocked me after he called me a prostitute. But he doesn't really... I kind of think he figured out once Montel crossed that line with me that there was not going to be any more pushing me around and telling me I had to be nice because he's called me a prostitute. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if he came out and tried to defend him, or maybe it's a shtick. I also saw this week that one of the pay loan companies that he has endorsed, and I'm dinging, sorry, they're on another text group. I'm also I basically read that his group, they are being, I guess it was misconduct for one of the pay loans. Yeah, so he's not had a great week. It's been interesting for that.
My headset, not having
You know what? Between your headset and my texts and the painkillers, this has been a great show.
Yeah. Oh my God, this parachute has been packed with silverware.
Oh, so yeah. Besides, I guess people are just losing their minds more than usual. I don't know.
Who's calling you?
That's my other family.
Phone off with the Alexas before the show. Just in case. You notice how I haven't lost the internet since I started turning the Alexas off.
Oh my God, I give up. I think we should just call it good.
Now the Alexas have hacked into your headset and messed that up, so they're like, turn up.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's because they have Alexa for Windows 10 now, and I haven't installed it yet.
Oh, because my husband just gave me a bunch of flack. He's in there, and I think, will you guys stop texting me for a minute? He sends me sure, and then a thumbs up. Oh my God. This is done. I give up. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about that's important?
I'm
just going to talk because I don't know what you're saying. Did we lose him?
Not sure. I don't see his picture anymore.
I see his picture. I just don't hear him. Well, it's really fun now. The chat put up the picture. So they're making memes of Ordy's headset and the.
Yeah, I saw that. That one's
back,
awesome.
Sure. Did you see the one where they made?
The one Jess put in is awesome.
That's when. Is that Jess? Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's good. AOC's butt is a new headset.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have words with Logitech this week.
You tell him to call me because I can't even. I'm sure you've talked a lot of smack, but I didn't hear part of it. So.
No, I was just talking about there was nothing else to talk about except for my love for chat.
Oh my God! No.
Suck up. Oh, sorry.
Suck up. No, really? Are you kidding?
They are my peeps. I love them.
They do. They love you. They're all trying to help you, and they care about your headset, and they're giving me flack for being mean to you.
Why did you?
Yeah, when we have to do GoFundMes for conventions, we'll see how that flies.
Why did you just Why did you just call the chat a bunch of nasty Easter marshmallow candies? Ew.
What?
What?
You said they're your peeps. That's like the worst candy ever. That's gross.
Peeps
Oh
are
my-
awesome.
they
I
are
love
the
Peeps
bomb.
when they're fresh.
Oh my God, they are like marshmallowy, delicious goodness.
Right? Peeps are the
Okay.
best when they're fresh.
So-
Don't try to eat them around November, though, because if you still have your Easter Peeps around
They're-
November,
They get crunchy.
you will break a tooth.
So,
They get real
not only do you guys need to find order a new headset by next week, you might need a new producer. No, I'm just playing.
Nah,
Nah.
you adore us so
I wouldn't
much.
do that.
I'm shocked that people are still in chat. 'Cause
I'm surprised anybody listens.
well, every week I'm surprised people listen, but this week especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, though. You all are awesome.
It's true. I mean, and this is not just.
I say that now in case my headset cuts out again and I miss the outro, but
That's a
y'all
good
are.
point. That's a good point. Actually, and I'm medicated enough where I can be nice and say how much I appreciate people listening, except for the assholes in chat, and that it's a great thing. They're awesome people, except for the buttholes in chat.
You had to
So-
get that in twice, didn't you?
I did.
So since things have gone completely off the rails, I want to talk to folks about a new feature. We have folks all the time that talk about wanting to call in, but then they're terrified to call in during a show. So we now have the ability for you guys to call in about any topic and leave us a message, and we can review the messages, and if we like what you say, we can use it on a show. If you'd like to find out the information, you can go to the station's Twitter feed. The number is right up there. It's 408-681-8255. It's the call-in number we used to use for K98 Talk. I'm putting it to use as a message number now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a good point. I do get lots of questions about people who want to call in and talk to us, which is, they're insane. Want to talk during the show. Is that something that we are going to look at in the future, or
Yeah, we have the ability.
put you on the spot?
We have the ability to take callers now. It's just right now the only way to do it is through a conference call feature. So it's a number and then they have to put in a pin. It's just nobody really ever asked to use it. So
Good point. Okay, so since we're talking Kalerin, and I know you have some things you're working on, and that the station is just getting bigger.
Yep. I'm actually starting probably next Monday. I've decided I'm going to start doing a morning update. So probably going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. It'll kick off right before the 6 o'clock show on Monday through Friday. Just kind of a little 3-minute snippet, probably a rant or two. And then we have new shows in the works as we speak. Actually, Orty, if memory serves, I think week after next, you, me, and G are supposed to kick off Toxic Masculinity, which is kind of an interesting thing considering that's been in the news all week.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that too. That's going to be a lot of fun.
So
They have Scottergate wants to know if you'll play their call on the air.
Yes.
After they've left the message. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually what it's for. It'll give anybody that wants to. I can let you guys listen to the messages. If you find one that fits a topic or you want to run it on your show, just let me know. We'll pull the audio.
Cool beans. See, this is a professional thing, just not with us tonight.
Someday we'll break 100 listeners and start getting professional.
No, that's not going to happen. This is like, I've been doing this 6 years, and this is as good as it gets. So you know what? It is what it is.
You guys,
I think that's why.
You guys average over 150 a show anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about.
150, 200. What are you going to do? No, but I've been doing it a long time, and it used to really worry about being like organized, and I figured out that's just not my shtick. So I asked you to join the show, and that worked out great.
Well, at least until Alexa hacked his headset.
That bitch. Tell you what. Oh, you know what? We're almost done, so now we can do the professional thing. Hey, Orty, where can people find you?
Well, after playing with my dongle here so I could get through this, Orty Packard on Twitter, and that's about it. And here every Wednesday night with the wonderful chat and you. And Rick. By the way, Rick's show's coming up afterwards, and y'all should listen to it. It's a really good show.
And his
Hang around
life
for that.
works, and he is organized, and he's not medicated. Also, you can find me on Twitter at POLITIBUNNY. Spell that really fast when you've been medicated. And on Twitchy.com. Thank you for being here, guys. And I know we've been a little less organized than usual, but it's been fun. Right? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
thanks for
I
being
had a
here,
good
guys.
time.
I'm sure you did. Thanks for being here, you guys. Stay put for Rick's show. He's up next. Thanks again. Stay out of jail and keep your sense of humor.
Just something complete in my life when I heard the phone. I picked up the receiver and I did not believe it when I heard a voice say you're not alone. When I am down and I am blue, all I have to do is close my eyes to think of you. And the world is new.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hump Day edition of the America Off the Rails show. I am your host, Rick Robinson. We are live right now on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. If you're just joining us, where have you been for the last 2 hours? We have the fastest, most entertaining 3 hours of conservative grassroots talk radio anywhere right here every Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show, followed by Foobar, One Nation Under Foo, and then I am batting cleanup every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern right here on America Off the Rails. Pardon me. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so we're going to get things started. Also, as promised, we will be opening the phone lines later in the show, so I'll be giving out that number when we come back from the first commercial break. But first, I got to talk about Nancy Pelosi, because she's back in the news again. She's basically disinvited the president from the State of the Union address because of security concerns. Now, the funny thing is, DHS, everybody came out and said, look, security's fine. And you know what she said? I don't care what they said. So here's the thing. Nancy, everybody knows it's not about security because, and this is kind of what drives me a little bit crazy about some of my colleagues, you know, like Chad Benson. I listened to a bit of his show this afternoon when I finished listening to my friends over on the ride on KLKC 1520. And the first thing he started with was the numbers from the polling that shows that the Democrats are gaining ground with the shutdown and that the margin for the displeasure with the Republicans is rising. Chad and everybody else. Chad Benson. I don't want anybody to get confused with another friend of mine, Chad Alexander, because I'm not talking to that Chad. I'm talking to Chad Benson. These are the same polls that said Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency in 2016. This is part of what is driving me crazy about the industry that I am in, because we now know 1,000% beyond a shadow of a doubt that the left-leaning media is in the tank for the Democrats. and we know it. We see it every single day. And then people that are in my line of work are still quoting their polls. And, well, look at how unpopular the Republicans are right now because of the shutdown. Well, I wonder why. When the left-leaning media is hanging everything on the neck of Donald Trump and has been since the day that he was elected. The man had not, for the first 6 months he was in office, if you can go find the numbers, I promise you they are there. You can look it up. For the first 6 months he was in office, 97% negative press coverage. Over the last 18 months, it's gone down to 95% negative press coverage. And everyone will know, why are the polls so skewed? If everything Donald Trump is doing is so great, why does everybody not like him? Because the media attacks him about every single thing that he does, and then they skew the polls. Have you looked at the sample number for some of these polls that are being thrown around? They're +3, +4 Democrats. So it's no wonder the percentages are like, well, according to the media and according to the polls, where the Republicans are losing the argument for the shutdown. First of all, who the hell wins a shutdown? This isn't about winning or losing. This is about doing the right thing for America. When we as the Republican, well, I say we, actually, I'm a registered libertarian. Full disclosure, I've only been a registered libertarian since 2016. Up until then, I'd pretty much been a Republican my entire life. So that's why I still catch myself saying we, referring to the Republican Party, even though I do align with a lot of their ideals. I'm not actually part of that party anymore. I think it gives me a unique ability to be able to hold both sides accountable because I'm not beholden to either one. I don't necessarily like what the national leadership is doing with the Libertarian Party either, but it gives me the ability to remain neutral, and it gives me the ability to call both sides a-holes when they deserve it. But the thing about this right now is this never should have gotten to this point. But as much as everybody likes to say, well, but Rick, up until a few weeks ago, you conservatives controlled everything. You had the House, you had the Senate, and you had the presidency. Yeah, there were 10 Democrats holding the entire country hostage because they weren't willing to vote for border security, even though most of these same people are on record 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016, saying, yes, we need border security. Yes, we need physical barriers. Oh, wait, Donald Trump got elected? Yeah, the wall's racist. Forget everything I said for the last 6 years, the wall's racist. It's just terrible. It's a bad idea. He hates brown-skinned people. I don't understand why we are still having these arguments. And I know everybody's like, dude, you've been talking about this for a week. That's because it's important. And nobody's talking about it the way that we're talking about it here. Because nobody cares. And that bothers me just as much. Because they're like, well, we're losing the argument. I don't give a damn about the argument. I've told you guys from the day I started this show, what I want is politicians that will go into DC, they will get elected, and they will do not only what their constituents tell them to do, but what they believe they should do to make the country better, whether they're 1 term, 2 terms, whatever, I don't care. As long as they're doing what we sent them to DC to do. And at this point, Donald Trump is fighting everybody because the establishment Republicans don't want border security any more than the Democrats do. And that's why he's fighting everybody. And that's why every bit of the media is like, well, this has gone on long enough. We need to figure this out. There needs to be a compromise. We cannot compromise on border security. We have done it too many times. We did it with Ronald Reagan. Anybody remember the amnesty deal with Reagan? Because there was supposed to be another part of that amnesty deal. It was, hey, Mr. President, if you go ahead and give this group amnesty, then once we get this processed, then we'll pass something to fix all the loopholes and everything else that are not cool with our border security. This is all the way back in the 80s. None of these problems have been fixed no matter who had control. So you explain to me who it is that is actually looking out for our best interest right now, and I will tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's Donald J. Trump. Because we've had Democratic presidents and we've had Republican presidents since Reagan, and this has never gotten fixed. He's actually been trying to fix it by shining big, bright spotlights on all kinds of issues, from our immigration laws to the way that we prosecute immigration laws to the fact that we have huge gaping holes that make it almost impossible for anybody in Customs and Border Patrol to do their jobs. And he's listening to the people that are there on the front lines, and they're saying, Mr. President, this is what we need. We do not need a big, giant, concrete barrier wall for the entire 2,500-mile length of our border. I just pulled that number out of my butt, so if it's not exactly right, don't send me hate mail. Or you can. I respond to hate mail, so feel free, rick@klrnradio.com, or you can @ me at RowdyRick73, but on Twitter. Here's the thing, guys. We're never going to get anything fixed if it just keeps being an issue of, well, now that I have control of this, I'm not going to let you do anything. And now that I have control of this, I'm not going to let you do anything. We have watched over the last 16 years Einstein's definition of insanity. Well, the Democrats didn't do a very good job towards the end with Clinton, so let's put all the Republicans in charge again and see if they do a better job this time. Oh, well, maybe that wasn't the best idea either. Oh, I like some of the Democrats are talking about the Constitution now. They're talking about this and they're talking about that. And they're saying they care about me because I'm a blue-collar worker. And that resonates with me. And they're paying attention to me. So I'm going to vote for them. And then it got worse. So then we started giving control to the Republicans again. And then the thing that boggles my mind about this most recent round of the transition, and I get it, common usual practice for the party that has all three, the House, the Senate, and the executive branch during a midterm typically loses at least the House. And that's pretty standard logic that at a minimum is going to happen even if things are going well. But with as crazy as the left was acting, after Donald Trump got elected, the rioting in the streets, the burning of cars, the breaking of windows, the self-segregation, the quiet spaces, the coloring books and pizza parties in colleges because they didn't have any coping mechanisms, the racism, the screeches, all of it. And we turned everything right back around to the Democrats in the House. And I don't understand it, because we're watching Nancy Pelosi right now stand in front of the world and stomp her feet because she's not getting what she wants. They're talking about Donald Trump doing it, but it's them doing it. It's been them doing it the entire time. Donald Trump tried to make a deal with them with DACA in front of cameras, told them everything they were going to get, gave them pretty much everything they asked for, and they didn't want it after all. Now, I have to tell you, if that deal had passed, I probably wouldn't have been very happy. But the fact that he put them on camera, gave them almost everything they wanted, and they turned a blind eye to it while turning up their nose at the same time, and we still turned the House back over to them. This is disturbing to me. This is very disturbing to me, because they have become unhinged, and the pendulum is starting to swing to give them power again. I don't think I like this idea. I really don't like this idea when the same people that have been screaming about border security for the entire time Barack Obama was in office are now telling us not to worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. Trump's just a racist. We're going to bring everybody back together. I promise. It's going to be great. But it's not going to be great. Because without a border, you don't have a country. We'll be right back.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
Alright, folks, welcome back. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We're live right now on KLRNradio.com, and we've been basically, I've been venting about the Democrats and the Republicans, because up until now, the only person that seems like they've actually been able to get anything done is Donald Trump. Which brings up an interesting point, because even though Donald Trump has the R behind his name, at this point, since he seems to actually be fighting both parties, what are you guys' thoughts? We're going to open up the phone lines here in a second. In case anybody does want to call in. So if you are interested in becoming a part of the conversation, you are welcome to give us a call. The easiest way to do that is actually by, I'll give you the information in just a second. So you can actually dial this number. It's 716-748-0624. You'll need to enter the PIN 80093 to become part of the conversation. Once I can see somebody's on the line, I will bring up the speakers, because otherwise, since nobody's in there but me right now, it's playing very annoying music. You may have also noticed, if you are following along with the station on Twitter, we now have the option, because I get this all the time, man, I'd really like to add to the conversation, but I'm not comfortable talking to you guys on the air. So we now have an option for you to be able to do that as well. If you are too shy, that's TOO. It was just brought to my attention that because I was typing in a hurry earlier, that apparently I typed in the number 2 instead of TOO. And damn you, Twitter, with your lack of edit button. I'm not going to fix it. I just put it underneath because I want an edit button. Because it annoys me that we can't make small corrections to tweets. I get it to a point, because Twitter's afraid that people would completely change a tweet after people are replying to it. But I don't know, there should be some sort of thing about you only being limited in the number of characters that you can correct or something, because you already limit the number of characters we can type, so it's not like you couldn't limit the number of characters that we could edit just to fix simple things like changing TWO to TOO. But since you didn't do that, I just fixed it myself. So if you are interested in becoming a part of the conversation, but you're too shy to call, you can tweet us on the Twitter account for the station at KLRN Radio. You can also hit me up on Twitter at RowdyRick73 anytime anytime, because I have the station account and the and my personal account readily available at any time. You can also, if there's a topic that we're really talking about and you guys want to add your 2 cents, you can give us a call at 408-681-8255. You'll have the ability to leave us a voicemail there. What we will do is actually give a listen to the voicemail. If we do like what you're saying, you may actually have your comment featured on the air. Just note, if you're calling that number, you are tacitly giving us permission to use your information on the air for whatever you've provided on that message. So if you say anything too crazy and people start ragging you, not going to be our fault that we used it. I mean, come on now. Anyway, because, yeah, I've actually had that happen before. We had a setup like this once before, and I stopped using it because I had people that were just calling in, giving random recordings, making it sound like phone sex lines and everything else, and I just started using them. And people were like, you should really just not, that's not cool, you should not do that. Like, look, if you're going to take the time to call and basically troll me on a phone line I give you to become part of the conversation, be aware that most likely your stuff is going to be getting used. Just saying. Alright, so anyway, back to the topic at hand. We've been talking about the Democrats, the Republicans, and Donald Trump and who's winning the war over the shutdown. The only people right now that are being hurt overall by the shutdown are the American people, because it never should have gotten to this point in the first place. If we didn't have both parties that wanted illegal immigration for different reasons, but only one of them emboldened enough to say why they want it, and they'll flat out tell you, we want them to come here for the votes. We don't care that they're coming here illegally. Because as far as they're concerned, our Constitution should be the world's Constitution, but we also shouldn't be the world's police force, which is a very dichotomic point of view, and it's very confusing for those following along at home to keep up with what it is the Democrats actually want us to do. Because we can't make the rest of the world like us, but we should allow anybody to come in who wants to at any time for any reason, whether they want to actually become a part of the country or not, and extend them all the same rights and privileges of anybody else who's a citizen of this country. And that's basically, in a nutshell, what the Democrats want to have happen. And that is very disturbing to me, because we now have people that are talking about, well, we don't even need borders. They're just lines on a map. Well, that's great. Well, if borders are just lines on a map, why are we still fighting over building a wall in Mexico? Why don't we just annex Mexico? Because they already have a southern border wall. Divide it up. Make it states 51 through 57. That way Barack Obama wasn't lying after all. And then the story will come out that Barack Obama was actually a time traveler from the future. And that's how come he knew we had 57 states. And everybody thought he was wrong. But he was just ahead of his time. Okay, not really. But still. There are so many things that don't make sense about the stuff that's going on in this country right now. Ocasio-Cortez just talked about wanting to run a train in Congress. I don't at this point, I'm just, again, I say this a lot, but I'm still waiting just to be able to catch Rod Serling out of the corner of my eye and say next up on and hear him say next up on the Twilight Zone, because I swear we have lost our minds. We have gotten to the point where supposedly the Republicans don't like facts, they don't like science, they don't like logic, but the Democrats are the party that says there's a billion genders. And do what you feel. But we don't like science or logic. When we say, but there's only 2 genders. You know, there's male, female, and then at best, you could come up with a third group to group everybody else in and call them outliers. Because there are random things that happen genetically from time to time, and I understand that. But why are we making every decision based on the outliers? We now have to have LGBTQ LMNOPs on every single show because they're outliers, but we want them to feel accepted. I was watching, I'm trying to remember, I think it was either The Resident or The Good Doctor, and I don't remember which one. But they had someone on the show. Now, it was an actor, but he was playing somebody that had pedophile urges. And he was self-medicating to keep himself from acting on his pedophile urges. Long story short, by the end of the episode, he killed himself. So for the last 5-10 minutes of the episode, they're all feeling bad for this guy because he walked in front of a bus because his insurance wouldn't cover the procedures that he wanted to try to, basically he was wanting to try to castrate himself to keep himself from acting on the urges. And by the end of the show, they were feeling sorry for the guy. Now, I'm not saying that to be heartless, but I've been saying this ever since gay marriage got normalized. The next big push you're going to see is pedophiles are people too. And it's already starting to happen. Because it's not their fault how they feel, because they're born this way. But we're the party that doesn't understand science. Because we don't like climate change, so we don't understand science. We have faith, so we don't understand science. We turn our nose up at science because we believe that, yes, the world exists. Yes, most likely there's probably a combination of evolution and something else that caused everything to be here, but there had to be a starting point. To believe that the world happened all by happenstance would be, to me, make as much sense as taking a Mustang apart, putting it into your yard, and coming back 5 billion years later and expecting to see a fully assembled car. And before anybody says, but Rick, that's an inanimate object, obviously you haven't been paying attention to physics. Even metals have moving particles, which means on some level, even it's not an inanimate object. So this is my point. We're the party that shuns logic, shuns science, but they're the party that put illegals before anybody else. They're the party that put feelings before anything or anyone else. Oh, you didn't mean to create a child? That's all right. It's just a mistake. It's just a lump of cells. We can make that go away for you. But the problem is science no longer supports that argument. We now have technology that allows us to see to the point where we're starting to see exactly when an unborn child looks exactly like an unborn child. And it's a lot earlier than we thought. Now, I heard somebody talking the other day, and they were throwing a fit over the Catholics for the pro-choice Catholics. But there's something about the Catholic faith and the old school Catholic faith that a lot of people don't realize. They have a belief that the body and the mind are what is in the womb. The soul actually doesn't join the body and the mind until the child is actually born. That is how some Catholics are able to basically come up with the idea that abortion is okay. I've had arguments with them on my timeline because they're like, you don't understand. The child isn't actually a divine creation of God until it's born, because that's the moment that the soul joins the body. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to preach to you tonight. I'm not going to read you the scriptures that support my side of the argument, because there's no point. But they're there. But we're the side that shuns science. All because of climate change. Because I don't believe, I'm not arrogant enough to believe that man can destroy our environment just by existing. We have polluted this planet worse before than we are now, and we have still survived. So we can talk about it all day long, and you can tell me that greenhouse gases can make things worse, and that's fine. I try to be a responsible steward of this planet. I recycle when I can. I use paper when I can. But while we're talking about all of these things, we also need to realize that there is a way to make all of this better. And it's by using things that the Creator or nature or God, whatever you want to call it, has already given us. Everybody's talking about plastic and how bad it is for the environment. Did you know that through hemp, you can make plastic that biodegrades? Because I didn't until about 6 months ago. Everybody's talking about in places where I live, where there's tornadoes, and you're just out of the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, Mother Nature wants to throw a hissy fit. There's a substance you can make out of hemp that they call hempcrete that is 10 times sturdier than regular cement and would help stand up to things like tornadoes. But we're not using it. But we're the party that shuns science. We now know that there are things called cannabinoids that are part of marijuana plants. Only one of them is reactive in the way that gets us intoxicated. Even without that intoxicating cannabinoid, there are other cannabinoids in the plant that are designed to work with our human body. And they're now starting to run test after test after test that are showing that cannabinoids attack cancers. But we're the party that shuns science. Now, right now, some of you are like, dude, you have gone completely off topic from where you started. But I really didn't, because these are the things that I'm talking about that nobody else is talking about. Over and over again, we find ways to make things better. Nobody wants to hear about it. Over and over again, we find ways to fix problems. Nobody wants to hear about it. Over and over again, we keep having the same arguments in D.C., no matter who's got the gavel. The same arguments day in, day out. Give us power, we'll fix it. No, give us power, we'll fix it. We're so busy fighting with each other about who's actually going to fix it, we don't realize neither side actually wants to fix it. And now we have Donald Trump, who, again, never met the guy, personally don't care for him much, based on how he acts. If I ever got to meet him, that may change. I don't know. I know people who know him. Chad Alexander, a pretty good friend of mine that I was talking about earlier in the show, his wife was his regional campaign director. He's met Trump multiple times. He's the guy that all the way through 2016 I was screaming at my radio because he was telling me Donald Trump's going to win the election. I'm like, you're an idiot. There's no way in hell Donald Trump's going to win this election. He's a moron. Because all the numbers told me he was going to lose. The one thing that comes up for me over and over again when we start talking about Donald Trump and the numbers and his ability to overcome the numbers, I'm always reminded of Han Solo and that quote, never tell me the odds. Because that's been Donald Trump during this presidency. You know, as Ordy Packard says, he's the Leslie Nielsen of presidents, but it's working. The dude backs into everything. Seems like half the time he doesn't even know what he's doing and everything works. The economy's humming on all cylinders. I mean, we haven't seen an economy this good since I've been alive. But you wouldn't know that from listening to the media because they're attacking everything he says and everything he does. We have some of the lowest unemployment numbers that we've seen in my lifetime. This before my lifetime. And I'm almost 46 years old. You wouldn't know it because the media is too busy attacking everything he does. All right, I was really, really long on that segment because I kind of went ranty and stuff. So we're going to take a quick break, get things somewhat back on track, and we'll be right back, so stay tuned. Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So on the break, I opened Twitter and I instantly regretted it. So I noticed Rudy Giuliani was trending, so I decided to take a look. There is a article from the Daily Beast, Dateline today. Rudy Giuliani, I never said there was no collusion between campaign and Russia. Rudy Giuliani, President Trump's attorney, denied that he ever said people in Trump's 2016 campaign never colluded with the Russians. You just misstated my position. I never said there was no collusion between the campaign or between people in the campaign. I have no idea, Giuliani told CNN's Chris Cuomo Wednesday night. I said the President of the United States... I said the President of the United States, there is not a single bit of evidence that the President of the United States committed the only crime you can commit here, conspired with the Russians to hack the DNC. Giuliani also added that if the collusion happened, it happened a long time ago. The lawyer and former New York City mayor also denied that former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort's alleged sharing of polling data with Kimmich thought to be connected to Russian intelligence was collusion. The polling data was given to everybody, he said. Manafort and Kimmich both indicted by special counsel Robert Mueller, and Manafort was charged with 8 fraud-related counts before sabotaging his own plea deal by reportedly lying to Mueller about the polling data. Who the hell writes for this? I swear, it wasn't me reading it. That's actually the article. Are we sure we don't have Russian plants writing for the Daily Beast now? Because that was in spots some very badly broken English. But so I wanted to bring that up because, you know, there are a couple of interesting points in there. Because at this point, Rudy Giuliani doesn't know that if in the past some people that have been affiliated with the Trump campaign may or may not have had some sort of relationship with Russian government or Russian officials. Look, guys, and again, I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything else. I'm just as confused about all this crap as everybody else is. Because I keep hearing all these different words thrown around, and then the word salad from the media starts, and then the spin cycle from the media starts. All I want to know is the truth, and that is, did Donald Trump do something that could negatively impact our election? And everything that I'm seeing says no. And that's why this is still going on. Because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Robert Mueller just asked for another 6 months to quote-unquote tie up loose ends. You don't need 6 months unless you didn't find what you were looking for in the first place. All I want is the truth. I have no skin in this fight because I didn't vote for Trump. I don't defend Trump every single step of the way. I call him a dumbass when he deserves it, and I defend him when he doesn't. Because that's what I do. It's what I've done for every president. From Reagan to Bush to Clinton to Bush 43 to Obama. I mean, I didn't vote for Obama either, but the day that when he gave his victory speech, I let my guard down. I said, you know what? He's saying all the right things. He's checking off all the right boxes. Maybe he can be my president too. And I tried. Up until the moment that the story broke, that he met with the Republican minority and basically told them elections have consequences. I won, suck it up. He actually said deal with it, but and now everybody's like, well, the Democrats shouldn't be willing to work with Donald Trump anymore either because he slammed his hands down on the desk and stormed out of a meeting. That's because Nancy Pelosi said we're not going to get there. Why is Donald Trump going to keep coming back to the table with folks that aren't even willing to give him anything? He even agreed to try to meet them in the middle for half of the money, and they went down. Now, I did this last night. We went over the debt clock. I'm not going to do it again. But and I get it. We are racking up all kinds of money, and I understand that. But a good part of that was us having to rebuild the military that Barack Obama gutted. A good part of that is coming from the fact that we are spending all kinds of money actually combating the fact that the Chinese have been stealing intellectual property from us for decades. Donald Trump is the first president since I've been alive that's actually standing up to China for their espionage. You want to know what these trade wars are really about? It ain't got nothing to do with the stuff that the media is talking about. It's Donald Trump trying to get China's attention and saying, you can't keep treating us the way that you've been treating us. It may have worked under every other administration, but it's not going to work under this one. Now, is it about also hopefully getting us on more of an even footing when it comes to trade? Yes. But for everybody that's like, oh my God, Donald Trump's starting a trade war. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been in a trade war since the 50s. We were just afraid to fire any shots until now. Everybody that we're in trade disagreements with right now are the same people that have been holding us over a barrel since the 50s. We just didn't want to do anything about it until now, for some reason. And I don't understand why. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, again, I will be completely honest. If the Democrats can show me a shred of proof that somehow something Donald Trump did caused the Russians to be able to get involved in our elections, I will be pissed off. Will I be surprised that Donald Trump was involved? Yes. That the Russians were trying to impact our elections? No, because we've been doing that to other countries for decades. And when President Barack Obama decided to start his unique and wholly unheard of approach of we're going to lead from behind now, whatever the hell that means, other countries started being more emboldened to start causing their sphere of influence to grow. And Russia started openly doing things that up until then we had been the ones doing. China started trying to court Israel. Russia started usurping territory. And they've been actively trying to destabilize elections in the Western world ever since. We know this. We've known this for a long time. Barack Obama knew this when he lied to the American people. According to the Democrats' own information, the only reason Donald Trump won the election was because of the Russians, and somehow they managed to hack the elections. But Barack Obama point blank said that the Russians couldn't impact our elections when Donald Trump floated that very theory. That our election process was too secure. That there would be no way for the Russians to have any direct impact on our elections until Donald Trump won, and then it's, oh my God, it's the Russians' fault. Maybe it's people tired of being told that white people are evil. Maybe it's people being tired of being told that being an American makes us hateful. Maybe it's people being tired of being told that we have to put the rest of the world before ourselves. Maybe that's why Donald Trump won. Not because of the Russians. Because the one very underreported story that has barely been talked about is that the fact that we do know that Russia was actively involved in trying to sway the American voter. But they weren't actively trying to sway the vote for one side or the other. They were more interested in using social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep each side fighting with each other. They were behind some of the biggest, most popular accounts during the election on both sides. Because they were keeping us fighting with each other. And keeping the rhetoric going. You know, I talked about this when I filmed it on KOKC a few months ago. And talking to the producer there, Brad Reed, and we had a pretty interesting conversation about it. Because I told him, I don't understand this. Because we now know that Russia was somehow involved in our elections. And yet we're still fighting with each other about it. We now know that they've spent $200,000 on promoting ads and promoting pages and Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts that pushed a narrative on both sides to keep us fighting with each other. But instead of coming together and realizing that, yes, we do in fact have an issue with Russia and them trying to influence our elections and keep the American public fighting with one another, we're still fighting with each other. What the hell sense does any of that make? Absolutely none. That's what. All right, we'll be right back here in a couple minutes. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Back before you know it. Stay tuned.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm. But even then, he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. This is America Off the Rails, and believe it or not, folks, we are coming to the close of the fastest 3 hours in political talk radio every Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Then we round the corner into Foobar, One Nation Under Foo at 9 Eastern, and then I finish off the night at 10 Eastern. We've got about 4 minutes left. Can't believe it's already over. You know, that's the funny thing. I always used to hear people say this all the time, but I'd never really... Well, I take that back. I had one other job that felt like this. But this is... It's one of those things everybody always says, find something you love to do and it'll never feel like work. That's exactly how all of this stuff feels, because I can spend hours doing it and it feels like it's been 5 minutes. It doesn't matter whether I'm doing it on a streaming platform, a terrestrial platform, whether it's recording other podcasts for other people. I enjoy every single minute of it, and I want to thank everybody for taking the time to tune in. Whether you decide to listen to us live, Memorex podcast, whether it's on iHeart, Spotify, iTunes. Speaking of which, iHeart, we're still waiting to hear back from you about Foobar, so get on it, because you guys are taking forever, and it's making me it's annoying me. Anyway, sorry. But so I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to tune in and for helping to make KLRN Radio the home that it is becoming for so many people and so many different unique voices. I mean, that's part of what we try to do here, because, you know, there are plenty of platforms that they go out and they find the big shows and they put them on in their morning slots and they do this and they do that. I don't want that to be us. I don't want to just be another restreaming point for bigger names that you can already hear in other places. I want to give you guys fresh voices, fresh faces, and give you guys different perspectives, and that's what this was all created for to begin with. And I just, thank you, each of you that take the time to tune in every single day, because it's amazing. We started with nothing, and we now are averaging anywhere from 250 to 275,000 plays a year. For a website based in the middle of nowhere, that's not anything to shake a stick at. Now, granted, there's some of the syndication points that this show goes out on. We get much larger numbers, but I don't care about that. That's just about trying to bring more folks here, because this is my home. No matter what happens, this will always be my home. And I'm not going to go into any details, but there was some stuff in the works, and it didn't pan out because they were trying to get me to go exclusively to them to do what I love to do, and I'm not going to do that. if I do radio elsewhere, whether it's terrestrial, syndicated, whatever, it's going to be on my terms. And I will never stop fighting for the family that we've built here. Because these guys that I do this with every single week are just as important as me, because they have their own fresh perspectives, their own ideas. They make me better doing what I love to do. If it was just me, it would get boring really, really fast. Anyway, that is going to do it officially for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. Again, thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen. Thank you so much for the folks that have hung out and chat for the last 3 hours. I know some of you have other things that you could be doing with your time, but thank you very much for spending your Wednesday night with us. We will be back tomorrow night starting at 9 Eastern with America Off the Rails, and then 10 Eastern with Jen and Rick. Leslie Dowd is probably going to be joining us for the second hour tomorrow night on Jen and Rick. She'd planned on hanging out with me and Jen last night and wound up filling in for Jen. And she really, really wants to hang out with Jen, so she'll probably be coming in with us again tomorrow night as well. So make sure you tune in for that, and we will see you guys when we see you. And remember, in the words of Bill S. Preston Esquire, until I see you again, be excellent to each other. Take care and God bless.
To the spotlight fades, I will lift your banner high. I will lift your banner high. Until the walls crash in for the rest of my Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.